Good evening, non-union employees. I want to thank the management for the invitation. I want to thank the paid stooges brought in by my campaign to hold up signs and pretend to be union auto workers attending this speech at a non-union factory for some reason. That's fantastic. All you doofus conspiracy theorists who think every mass shooting or terrorist attack or war is a psyop. You're in a psyop right now! Congratulations! And thanks again. And most of all, I want to thank the news media for reporting on this event as though I was going to speak to striking union workers despite knowing the entire time that I wasn't going to do that. It's a good thing I don't believe in repaying my debts, because I owe you in the news media a big one. Without your gutless commitment to bipartisanship and performative fairness amplifying my dog whistle-laden rhetoric, normalizing my deranged beliefs, and legitimizing my fascist policy proposals, I wouldn't be here. I'm gonna keep on attacking you and acting like I hate you because these rubes lap it up like cheap beer, but just know that without you, people like me would have only a fraction of the political and cultural power we have. God bless you. I don't mean that literally. My professed belief in God is a cynical affectation, but you get what I'm saying. The Democrats, the liberals, the leftists, the Marxists, I use those terms interchangeably, even though I know they aren't interchangeable because you shitheads don't know the difference anyway. The Bolsheviks over there on the other side, they all say that the Republican Party is the party of the rich, not of the working class. They all say that the Republican Party has nothing substantive to offer workers. Well, as your Republican candidate, I am here to tell you that they are absolutely right. The Republican Party has nothing to offer workers, has no interest in making life better for workers, has no policies that could do anything good for workers. That's because the Republican Party is the party of business. And the bigger the business, the more we're the party of it. If you're a blue-collar worker, or hell, even a white-collar worker in most cases, I don't work for you. I work for your bosses. I work for your company's top executives and board members and investors and owners. I want to cut their taxes even more than they already have been. And let's be honest, taxes on the wealthy in this country are outrageously low as it is. Not outrageous to me. Should be outrageous to you if you could ever afford to stop working long enough to pay attention. I want to slash regulations. We've been slashing them for 40 years, but I want to slash them even more. I want to do away with government red tape, by which I mean I want to make it legal and as easy as possible for your bosses to treat you however they want. No safety standards, no health care, no vacation days. Your bosses get everything and you get nothing because I don't give a shit about you or your families or whether or not any of you live or die. God bless America. So what am I doing here talking to you in the first place? It's a publicity stunt. Thanks again for playing along. But it's more than just that. It's pretty simple. I need you to vote for me. We live in a democracy for the time being. We're working on that, but for right now, we still live in a democracy. So I need to win elections. I don't like it any more than you do. Actually, I like it way less than you do. I hate democracy. I fucking hate democracy. I hate having to come out here and put on a dog and pony show for you peons. I'd much rather just collect the unlimited wealth and unchallengeable power to which I genuinely feel I'm entitled. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in yet. And here I am. Why should working class people vote for me, a Republican politician? There's no good reason to. But some of you are going to anyway, Because no matter how harmful our policies are to you, no matter how obviously out of touch I am with your needs, and no matter how unabashedly dismissive and hostile I am toward you, you sad, filthy, broke-ass unpeople, I can always convince a few of you to act against your own self-interest and vote for me. How do I do it? Well, you brain-dead simpletons, I'll tell you. I appeal to your vanity. I flatter you. I patronize you. I tell you that you are the real Americans. I tell you that your half-abandoned, economically inert, culturally dead small towns are the real America. I tell you that your frightened, insular, embattled worldview is the objectively correct one. I tell you that it was people like you who built this country. And I leave out the fact that the people who built the country have also historically been the people who have benefited the least from what they built, which is by design. You can thank me later. I was being rhetorical there. Do not thank me later or ever try to speak to me at all outside of prearranged and rigidly stage-managed campaign events. I see that chip on your shoulder, that antipathy toward being lumped into a group, that childish, independent streak. And I tell you what you want to hear. You don't want some union taking dues out of your wages and giving you nothing in return. Why should the leaders of the union get rich while you're here sweating away on the job? You don't want some union getting in between you and your employer, telling you what you can and can't do, telling your boss what he can and can't do. See, I want you to get mad at the idea of a hypothetical union leader getting rich off of your labor so that you won't care about your actual bosses getting rich off of your labor while leaving you with crumbs. And the best part is, some of you always fall for it because you're ignorant and you're desperate. And I know that's the case for most of you because you have to be ignorant or desperate or both to work in a non-union shop in the auto manufacturing industry. I appeal to your fears. I tell you that Republicans save American jobs and that Democrats destroy the economy, even though historically speaking, that is literally the opposite of the truth. I tell you that if these unions get any more of a foothold in your industry than they already have, they're going to make building cars in this country so expensive, companies like Ford and General Motors are going to have no choice but to outsource all of those jobs and all of their operations to other countries. And I'm telling you, that's the fault of the unions and not the top executives who pay themselves hundreds of millions of dollars annually. And you're going to believe me because you're seriously just that fucking dense. And because you like what else I have to say. For example, I appeal to your bigotry. Oh, you love this one, don't you? So do I. Check it out. When the unions force the companies to ship American jobs out of the country, who do you think those jobs are going to? Your jobs. They're going to Mexicans. It's bad enough they're coming up here to take our jobs. Now we're going to send our jobs down there? Not on my watch, I say. When the truth is, almost all of the executives responsible for outsourcing American jobs to developing countries where it's easier to exploit cheap labor vote for me and give me money and keep me in power because we're on the same side. And if I was in their place, I'd be doing the same thing, looking for any way I could think of to fuck you over and take a little bit more of what I pay you and put it back in my pocket. Here's another one. Aren't you tired of calling customer service and having to talk to someone from Bangladesh? And they speak in an accent that you're not used to hearing, which can make them difficult to understand unless you actually listen to them? Don't you hate that? Of course you do, because people like me have been encouraging you to hate it for almost as long as most of you have been alive, which is why I can stand up here and say something like, don't vote for a Democrat unless you never want to hear an American voice on the phone again and get away with it, because you're more worried about that than you are about how you're going to afford groceries in the next few years as the actual value of your wages keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller, you fucking nitwits. Hey, I get it. I hate people from other countries too. Immigrants, refugees, children of immigrants and refugees, black people, brown people, people of all colors other than mine, even the ones that are just living in their own countries, minding their own business, doing what they can to earn a living for themselves and their families. I can't stand them. And if I didn't need them as a source of cheap labor or to pass off as scapegoats to you dipshits, I wouldn't bat an eye over killing every last goddamn one of them. Heartless reactionary racism and xenophobia are qualities I actually share with all of you, but I try not to dwell on that. I find it upsetting. I appeal to your weakness for magical thinking. Most of you go to church, so I know you like to believe in fairy tales. Here's another fairy tale for you. Free market capitalism. The great American fairy tale we've been selling you over and over again for generations, as though any of you have the slightest reason to be excited about free market capitalism. It's not for the yous, it's for the me's. Cults benefit the people who run them, not the people who join them. We need to cut taxes and cut regulations to unleash the power and potential of American business. That's what I say in response to pretty much every problem. Climate change, cut taxes and regulations, unleash the power of American business. Poverty, cut taxes and regulations, unleash the power of American business. Criminal justice, unleash the power of American business. What's cutting taxes and regulations on businesses going to do to address any of those problems? Nothing. Not a fucking thing. But it sounds good, doesn't it? Just like it sounds good when I say that I just want to turn loose the entrepreneurial spirit of the American people and encourage people to start a small business. Like any of you are ever going to start a small business. You probably don't even want to start a small business. But it sure sounds like I'm fighting for you when I say that, doesn't it? I'm not, though. I'm not fighting for you. Why would I fight for you? I don't even think of you as real people. You're like animals in a zoo to me. If I'm feeling really thoughtful, which is not often, I might spend a few seconds wondering what kinds of thoughts drift through your mostly blank lizard brains as you sit in your negative equity homes, smashing fistful after fistful of French fries into your faces while watching hours and hours of mindless reality TV. But that's it. I don't care about you. I don't take your feelings or your interests into account when I'm making decisions. I just want your compliance and your labor and your money. That's why I want to get rid of the minimum wage. That's why I want to lock as many of you into insurmountable debt as I possibly can. That's why I'm coming after your health care benefits. That's why I'm coming after your retirement. That's why I'm coming after your Social Security and Medicare. And you're so fucking dead from the neck up that you still think I'm on your side. Which is why I'm going to get all that stuff, because eventually you're just going to hand it over. Thank you for your credulity. Thank you for your willful stupidity. And once again, thanks to all of you on cable news for airing this and talking about this and treating me like a normal candidate from a normal political party instead of an open fascist you should all be terrified of. God damn you. Goddamn America. Yeah! I will crush each and every one of you if it's the last thing I do, you pathetic sacks of shit!